my first question to you guys is how many of you know who Livevox is? Yay, okay. So good. I'm going to see if I can do my elevator pitch in this line because our CEO left, so this is great. I'm Stephanie. I sit mostly with product. If you have engineering questions, I can halfway give you a decent answer. So what I'm going to do for the rest of you is hopefully give you guys kind of a high-level overview of what it is that we can do. If you heard our CEO speak in the keynote yesterday, you might have a little bit better idea. My hope is to bring that up a level. Okay. So when we think about what PACE is trying to do and the words that were described to talk about where we want to bring our contact centers, we have a couple of words: digital, seamless, engagement, instant, customer experience, intelligent, multi-channel, and expectation. The chairman talked about the expectations when trying to order something from Amazon. You expect it instant, and I think this is where contact centers struggle to get to. I know when I call my Chase or my bank, I want them to know who I am right away because I told them over SMS, I told them over email, and I'm calling again and they don't know. So I'm going to ask another question actually. How many of you guys actually run contact centers? Okay, good. How many of you guys have an extra $6 million in 2 years of time to spend? Go ahead, because I'm going to ask for a job soon. No? No? Okay. And this is why I think we're having these conversations. Our CEO yesterday talked about these digital channels are something that's been around for 20 plus years, 10, 20 plus years. The technology has been there, but the demand is increasing faster than ever. And as contact centers, you struggle because it feels like technology has moved so fast, demand has moved so fast, but how do you get to that place where you can build customer engagement or a CX platform? In a 2017 study of the top 10 biggest customer complaints, and you probably have these in your own experiences. I can't talk to a real person, it takes me too many calls, all these things that you probably grumble about unless you're a Premier Delta person. And in fact, that top 10 list is going to get even worse. In a 2017 Deloitte study, it said the level of complexity will continue to increase over the next 2 years. And at the forefront of that is the agent, is the voice, because the customer expected you to know who you are. They're only calling you because they're frustrated. They've emailed you, they've texted, they try to chat with you, and they're like, okay, I want to talk to someone. And we know that. I went back. And we know that because we've all been there. So this is what we at Livevox are actually kind of excited to talk to you about. If you don't know us, we do about 18 billion interactions across a multi-channel environment. To give some perspective, other providers, let's say in cloud, do about 6 billion. Our website says 9. My girl says she'll fix it. But our latest numbers are 18 billion. We're a pure cloud contact center technology. And the reason why only a few of you have probably raised your hands is that we have played and thrived in the most competitive, cost-effective, bottom-line driven environment and heaviest regulated collections, financial services. And in this environment, where if you don't move fast, if you don't move cheap, you get left behind. And if you don't move in a compliant way, you'll get in trouble. And so this is where I think cloud has really been able to prove its point, prove its capabilities over premise environment, and this is where we thrive. So if you do know us, you probably know us for our outreach. We are the only solutions provider with 5 court rulings from a TCPA risk mitigation perspective. The latest, which was Marshall versus CPA, was the first court ruling after the DC Circuit. So if you do know us, you probably know us for that. You probably talk to our sales guys for that. Our sales guys probably bombarded with that. But I'm in product, that's not what I'm excited for, because we've been talking about this for a long time. We've been pushing these products over the last 2 or 3 years. What I'm excited to talk to you about in my next 5 minutes and 28 seconds is what happens after an outreach, whether it be email, SMS, chat, whatever. You saw this slide if you were in keynote. 61% would rather talk to a person in a buying cycle. Because you've gotten to the point, you researched it, I just want to buy, I have a question. I don't want to go through a chatbot, sometimes chatbots aren't working, I want to talk to a person. So we talked about, again, in the introduction, that the lines between blended or outbound and inbound are blurring in a blended environment. This is what engagement is. You call someone and someone talks to you and they know who you are. And so what we're trying to do is provide you with a path to get there that is cost effective, that is fast, and that you can implement not in 2 years and not with $6 million, but in the next month with 4 weeks. These capabilities that we have talked to our clients about that are using are in use today. I'm just bragging a little bit, but I'm going to give a high-level overview of what my CEO did and tried to do in non-technical terms, although I do sit with engineering. When we talk about creating a customer-centric environment, over the last 4 or 5 years, what we've ended up doing is build highways that run in parallel. Instead of building a foundation around the customer, at the core of that is you have to understand who that customer is. If you build highways around the customer, they don't intersect. And this is why the biggest complaints are around, they don't know who I am, I've called them, it takes forever, the agent doesn't know who I am. And it's because every interaction, especially from a customer perspective, you leave a little bit of breadcrumb around who you are and what you want. And that data is stuck in each of those channels. So if you were to think about it, and the best analogy I guess I can think of is what LinkedIn has done with recruiting. If you're a recruiter, you want to know who that person is, and you want to know it in one place, so you can focus on them and you have the right pitch to them because you know who they are. So before LinkedIn, imagine trying to understand who you're recruiting. Where would you get for their workplace information? Where would you get for their income? Where would you get about their social life? What do you know how they work in a work environment? Those are data elements that build a customer profile that you would have to go search for. And right now they sit, from a contact center perspective, in different channels. Someone might have said something on voice, they might have said something on email, they might have said something for chat, and if you're BPO, that data also sits in different environments. Maybe your customer has it, maybe your other client has it, maybe it's stuck somewhere else, maybe it's in a CRM, maybe it's an SRO. The point is that you don't know who the customer is, because even though they've told you in these different environments, so how would you build an engagement model when you don't know who the customer is? And so the best analogy that I can think of is that what Livevox does is try to build those profiles for you in a data environment. And I can get super technical, super fast, but instead what I'm going to try and say is that we can link those data models into a customer profile so you can start building that profile in your journey around who that person is. And so this, again, in-premise environment, in most environments, takes a lot of money and a lot of time. This is something that we do today. When you talk about contact centers and you talk about strategy and you're talking about upsells, you have to know who that customer is, you have to understand what their personas are like, and you want to create campaigns on new personas. You're J. Crew, you have a new t-shirt. You know this t-shirt is expensive, you know it only is worn in warm weather climates. You have to upsell this product. You know who the customer profile is, but you want to build a campaign. The second key piece of what we do is allow you to abstract that data and create new data elements. You can pull t-shirt side, you can put color of hair, whatever data model, you just pull it on the fly. No talking to IT, no trying to get into integrations through a single supervisor platform. And we loop that back into workflows. If you think about the workflows in a contact center environment, it involves agent, self-service, and multi-channel. We build that data into those workflows, and when the interaction happens, it gets fed back to that customer profile. So the next time you want to pull a campaign, you knew that they bought that t-shirt, you knew that they bought it last summer, you knew that in 6 months you could probably upsell them again. That is what we do. And that is what we do without $6 billion, and that is what we do in not 2 years. And I have 27 seconds left, but I think the other piece is that agents are now your storefront. So all that data about what your customer just did across all channels are now presented in the agent desktop. So when they call in, that agent knows exactly that you sent them an email, that they bought that t-shirt last year, and that their, I don't know, whatever data model is in that customer profile gets popped to that agent. And when we talk about engagement, we talk about moving that customer journey forward. It's proactive and it's reactive. The reactive part is giving them the intelligence when they call in, and the proactive part is giving them the power at that call to tell them, hey, I can send you an email. Hey, are you okay with me sending you an email? I can send you an email right now. Would you mind clicking subscribe so I can opt you in? Double opt-in, customer preference. All that data gets looped back into the customer profile. So every time that interaction happens, it gets smarter. It gets more intelligent. Your strategies become more intelligent. So these are some marketing slides, but that is at the core of what we do. And I think from a product perspective and an engineering perspective, that's what we're excited about to bring to you. If you're interested in TCPA, I can talk to you night and day. But if you want to talk about getting your contact center closer to an engagement model, not with $6 billion or $6 million unless you're Delta, and not with 2 years, these are things that we can offer today.